Ivy. I've had a chance to talk with some of you already one-on-one, but for those I haven't met yet, I'm going to give you a brief introduction to our new product, Inline, which launched this past August. It's new, and I'm here to talk about the pain and the pleasure of applying to college. Could I get a show of hands? How many of you have had some experience or contact with the Common application, either as a student or a parent or a friend, an advisor? A good number of you. I've worked with applicants for many, many years as they muscle through this application platform, and for those of you who aren't familiar with it, close to 700 selective colleges in the United States use it, and it is sort of the go-to platform for many colleges. And surveys have been done, not ours, so we're not sort of drinking our own Kool-Aid here. Surveys have been done that show that people find the application itself a very stressful part of the process. There are other stressful parts. Paying for it can be stressful. Figuring out how to pay for college is stressful. The standardized tests are stressful, but the actual form itself is also stressful. And all these years that we've been advising students as they work their way through, we've wondered, why isn't there something like TurboTax for the college application, where you can get really good expert advice as you DIY your way through it? You might be a student who doesn't have the money to hire a fancy private admissions consultant. You might not have a parent who has the time or the savvy to know how selective college admissions works here in the United States. You might be at a wonderful high school and have a wonderful college guidance counselor. The bandwidth can be tricky. So we're really tackling the form itself, the application form, which so far has gone really unaddressed in the world of digital tools. So current help, I've touched on some of them. The ratio, the average for the United States of students to college counselors is 800 to 1. So they can be amazing college counselors. They can do a wonderful, wonderful job, but they don't have a lot of bandwidth to help any one student. Independent college consultants, I love them. I used to be one. They're terrific. They're also very expensive. To get a former admissions officer working with you one-on-one is not a cheap proposition. And there's some wonderful digital tools out there. For example, you can go look at sample essays. You want to apply to Penn, you can go look at an essay that someone wrote when he or she got into Penn. And that can be useful. It doesn't really give you the expert advice that you might need for your own situation, and it doesn't really tell you what was effective about that essay. Sometimes I look at those crowdsourced essays online, and from my admissions experience, I think, dude, you got in despite that essay, not because of it. So sometimes that's the case, unfortunately. They had other things going for them, clearly. So this is where Inline comes in. We try to be accessible and offer this tool at a price point that should be affordable for most people. It's under $100, and it gives you access for 2 full admission cycles. So you can start in your junior year of high school, and it covers you through the whole application process. Senior year, expert advice, you can see me up there, and my colleague and business partner, Allison. I was doing admissions at the University of Chicago. Allison most recently was doing admissions at Dartmouth. We have colleagues who were doing admissions at Yale, Tufts, I think Northwestern, some other ones. So we've sat on that side of the table, and it's that expertise that we're really looking to share with the largest number of people possible in a scalable way. How it works, you log into your own Common application. We don't take you away from your Common app account. We don't divert you in any way. We don't store your information. Frankly, I don't want to. These are minors. I'm not looking to have their information on hand and be responsible for it. So when they log into their Common application account, it's theirs. That's where it's saved. That's where they're working on it. Our advice pops up at the browser layer, so it kind of floats on top of the Common application, but it all looks sort of a piece, and the advice pops up contextually. You might be familiar, if you've worked your way through the Common app, there is a knowledge base that is included, but the advice isn't always matched up with the questions that it's next to, and it generally does not take a strategic approach, because that's not what they're really designed to do. So we have advice from everything from which test scores to report. That's gotten a whole lot more complicated in the last couple of years. We advise about the essays. we have advice about even how to fill out the name section. Believe it or not, there are ways to mess that up. We also have what we call inline intel. If it's not something that we can fit in a little box on the browser, we'll take you to another tab, and we have all kinds of sample essays that we've annotated with advice about what we think makes an essay effective from the admissions officer perspective. Lots and lots of sample essays. And we have some actual reviews, even though we've only been around since August, so we went to actual students who've been using it, and so far we've gotten some nice feedback. I will say the nicest feedback, I think, so far has been from a student in New Hampshire who came in and used it and said, you know, I was really dreading this, and now I don't anymore. So
We're way over.
we're way over. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Please stop by and pick up a free license, you know, and give it to someone who can use it. Thank you. I'll take 2 questions. Yes?
How easy is it for a student to get started in using this platform?
Yeah, once you have downloaded the license, which is basically you're downloading a browser extension into Chrome, it shows up automatically when you log into your Common App account. And the content all gets updated in real time. We're constantly monitoring changes and updates, so it's dynamic, but there's nothing that the end user has to do to get the latest, greatest version. It's just constantly self-updating.
So they're up and running within minutes?
Yes, up and running within minutes. Yes, thank you. Good question.
All right.
Anyone else?
We're good.
Great. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
I'm up by the big windows.